Hey guys, okay, real quick, let's talk about whistleblowing. Whistleblowing is when somebody in a company or an organization raises some kind of moral concern about something that had, up until that point, been secret or private. So, the most famous examples of whistleblowing, uh, uh, Edward Snowden and Chelsea Manning blowing the whistle on um, uh, government surveillance or state violence. Um, uh, you know, Cops in police departments around like Frank Serpico in the New York City Police Department in the 1970s, or other cops around the United States all the time who report uh, uh, go to the press about their colleagues' bad behavior or police brutality. The most famous examples of whistleblowing are what's called external whistleblowing, when somebody blows the whistle externally to a company. Um, Naturally, managers and business owners don't like external whistleblowing. They don't like external whistleblowing because it airs out their dirty laundry and they can get in trouble. They also don't like external whistleblowing because sometimes you think, well, this problem, we could have dealt with this problem in-house. We didn't have to bring the press in. We didn't have to bring the government in. We didn't have to bring the lawyers or the cops in. It's too complicated when you bring these sort of ham-fisted outside institutions. We could have dealt with it internally. Um, Sometimes people dislike whistleblowing because they think, well, a company is a team, a company is a family, and we have to be loyal to our families. We don't snitch on our family members, right? No snitching. Okay. So for various reasons, some of them more sensible than others, businesses tend not to like external whistleblowing. Okay. What do you do about that? Well, often, historically, the answer has been, I know what we do. When somebody threatens to blow the whistle, we retaliate against them. We try to ruin their lives. We sue them. We malign them in the press. We show up at their house and break their kneecaps or whatever it is. Well, you know, that's not a very good solution, in part because sometimes whistleblowers raise real concerns that are actually in the long-term interest of the company to address. And so if you retaliate against whistleblowers, you're going to suppress the desire for employees to raise real, legitimate concerns that actually are conducive to the long-term health of the company. Okay. Well, what's the alternative? I think the alternative is internal whistleblowing, encouraging people to raise complaints about problems at a firm internal to the firm. How do you do this? Well, there are a lot of different ways you can do this. One way is to give people an opportunity to raise complaints anonymously so that they can raise complaints without fear of retaliation. Now, maybe there isn't always a chance to do this, or maybe if somebody raises a complaint anonymously, ultimately there has to be some kind of tribunal or, public decision-making process where the claim is sort of adjudicated. The person who's the alleged bad guy has to have their day in court. So, there are limits to giving people anonymity. Another thing you can do is that when people make whistleblowing complaints, you show in a very flashy way that you take these complaints seriously. So either you actually do what the complainant wants you to do. So somebody's being bad, somebody's doing something wrong, you fire them and you take some very clear steps to prevent something like that from happening again, from whatever the malfeasance is. You can do things there are various things you can do to hold somebody up as a role model or a hero. You can, within a workplace, you can give them a promotion, or if that's not in the cards because it costs too much money or whatever, you can make them employee of the month. You can do things to sort of talk about them in the company newsletter. Do whatever you can to say, this person is really admirable. They saw something that they took seriously and they spoke up and we dealt with it without having to, call the cops or call Bill de Blasio or whatever. Internal whistleblowing. It's good, folks. It's typically what managers want as opposed to external whistleblowing. There are clear ways of promoting it. It's the if the choice is between either doing that and breaking the kneecaps of an external whistleblower, you go with the internal whistleblowing every time. Okay, there you go. Good work.